So I've got this story and to share, and then just to have a discussion. So I just want to ask a few questions. Do you know this person? He was a manipulative person, and he had, sorry, did I say he? I shouldn't have said he. Gives it away. Had hidden agendas. He was deceiving, hidden strategies. He was full of treachery, had hidden alliance. Okay. Old Testament. I mean, okay. So, I know it's funny, but I think it's God did confirm. I'm going to speak about the spirit of Absalom. Because, I don't know why, but God confirmed it twice. So, it's better to be taught now than struggle later. So, we know to have our guards up. Okay? So, when the church grows, it'll be easier to deal with any issues. So it's, I think it's somewhere in 2 Samuel 13, and it goes up till 2 Samuel, I think 18 or something. Okay. So Absalom develops a way of using other people to accomplish his purpose. There is manipulative spirit, we already know, the Jezebel. But there is also Absalom's spirit. It can operate not only in church, it can also operate in your workplaces and also in your home. I was shocked to know that. So this even Jezebel spirit and Absalom spirit, although it's a she and a he, it doesn't necessarily need to be a he and a she. The spirit can operate. So it's a spirit. So when that spirit is in operation, it's not just one individual. It might be more than one individual who might be affected. Okay? Got it? Are you with me? Okay. So it targets the leadership, or targets to become the first, want to take possession. Okay, a little bit about Absalom's story. Absalom was very handsome and very good looking. He was the part to become, he had all the right things to become the next king. But he was the third son. So he had someone else before him. Okay, that was Abner. If I get my names twisted, please forgive me. Huh? Abner? Amna. Yeah. So, Amna was from a different mother, and Absalom was from a different mother. David married Absalom's mother because he wanted to make peace with another part of the country, so that there won't be war. Okay. So Amna one day decided to actually rape Tamar. So both are David's sons, and he actually raped his stepsister. So Absalom is really furious, but he doesn't show it. He says to Tamar, don't worry about it. Just, don't let it go to your heart. Forget about it and, let's move on. He waits 2 years. And what he does, he comes and says to his father, David, that we're going to have a sheep shearing festival. I want you to come. Knowing that David is going to be too busy to come for this. And he said, I want all your sons to come so that we can have a good feast, including Amnon. Yeah, I've got it all here, but I can't see. So David says, oh, okay, it's going to be okay. To get rid of, he was so busy. He said, take the sons and go. And, they all went. Absalom, what he does is, tells his servants to take him out. He doesn't do it. He says, you do it, and it is a direct order from me. I'll take the blame for it. And what does he do? When the festival is on, he takes him out. Or the servants take him out. He dies. David finds out about it. He's furious. And Absalom runs away to another country. Okay? Are you guys still with me? Yes. Amen. Okay. Then David's commander, that's also A, is it? Joab says to David, now, look, your son, he's run away, and, his eldest son is died, and, why don't you allow your son to come back, forgive him. And, they played an act, got a lady to come and act, and, played a scenario, a role play, and then David made David to agree for Absalom to come back. So David says, make sure that he doesn't look at my face. He can come back in, he can't look at my face. So he comes back in, and David gives all the privileges like before. Now, what happens is, Absalom, although he's run away and, all this has happened, he has unforgiveness or a bitterness towards David, because when things happened to Tamar, David didn't show justice. He was slow to react. So he had that in his heart, that David is not going to give me the right justice. So what he did was, after David allowing him to come, he stands at the gate before people go to David for their, solutions and problems, and, he would say, David's not going to listen to you. I am here. Listen to me. I'm here to listen to your problems. I will give you justice. I will do. And little by little, he started to work out a scheme how he can win the people. Yeah? Right. Should I look at my notes now? I don't know where I am on my page 11. Let's go far. Let's carry on. So he has a basic distrust in the leadership of David. So then what he does is, he tells his dad that I made a vow with God that I would go back and worship him in this, I think, Hebron. So I need to go. So David says, oh, okay, go. And this place, he took, I think, 50 of his men and went there. These guys don't know what is happening, so they went along with him. David's men are, getting old, and these are the sort of the young guys. He goes there, and then once they reach there, he says, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. When I go into the city, make sure everyone says Absalom is the king. And, he sent these soldiers up front to make preparation for that. And everyone should bow down. And he comes in a chariot, and, these soldiers have already gone, and they say, Absalom is the king, as Absalom is king. And David is all confused what's going on. And he actually fears his son, and he runs away. He runs away from his kingdom. He runs away from his kingship. Now he is in hiding. See how he worked his scheme out. Yeah? So first he won the hearts of the people. Then he manipulated things to pretend to be king. Got those soldiers to go up in front and commanded everyone to bow down and say, he is the king. Okay? So we later on we find how his ending is. He goes in search of David and, to find him and kill him. On the way, his lovely hair that, weighs so much gets caught to the tree. Then Joab, who actually brought him back into the kingdom, is so frustrated with him, he actually, with the spear, he, kills him. Okay? So it ends up in death. Okay? So anyway, so there is a spirit which controls, manipulates, so that spirit we just refer to as Absalom Spirit. And that can easily get into your workplace and church, and so on. I've got two stories to say. And one of the churches hired a youth leader to come in to help with the youth. So the youth leader said to the pastor, can I have Saturday night's prayer? And, pastor said, yeah, you can have Saturday night. And it was going on, and it was getting filled up, and a lot of people were coming. He said, oh, it's getting really full now. Can I switch to Sunday morning? And pastor said, yeah, it looks like you're doing well with the young generation. Yeah, you have Sunday morning. And it went on for a while, and then he said to pastor, the congregation's getting big. I've got a bigger congregation than the evening, so can we swap to evening? After that, pastor agreed. So pastor is doing morning, less people. The youth pastor graduated from youth leader from youth pastor to assistant pastor to, now he's taken over the main pastor. And after some time, true story, after some time, he went and got hold of the board and said, look, he's getting old, the pastor, why don't you send him, retire him and, make me the pastor? And the way he put it, the board agreed, and they told the pastor, please, can you, we'll give you early retirement. And and he became the pastor. So the story ending is 6 years later, there is no more church. The church is destroyed. Okay. Now in Absalom's case, he anointed himself as king. But David was anointed by God to be king. This pastor was anointed by God to lead, but this pastor, without waiting for God or without, the main pastor telling him that you are promoted, you can go on and so on. But he actually worked himself. He anointed himself, he actually asked for every position and went up. So, and another story is true story in my life which happened. I was working in the IT. I went for 4 days for a contract job. God was so good. I was there 4.5 years. Went for 4 days, but it made 4.5. But end of those, end of the last 4th year, what started to happen was the company brought in another assistant or another IT person to work alongside with me. He wasn't superior, but along with me. But as time went, he would go and chat to all the managers and even the guys in US, the directors, he would chat to them, and somehow he worked out a scheme to take over. Within like 3 months, he started bossing me. He said, "What have you done? Have you done everything?" I was thinking, what's going on? We are both supposed to do the same job. And, he has worked out a scheme. Long story short, he has a few meetings and say, sooner or later, I'm going to manage this place. So you better listen up. He tells me. I said, really? Okay. I was a new Christian then. I didn't know this spirit and all that. So, but it was beginning to manifest, and he won all the people's heart. And one day, suddenly, while I was in prayer, I felt a burden that something bad's going to happen to him. So I started praying for him. And that morning when I went to work at 10 o'clock, as the phone rang, I knew it was bad news about him. When I picked up the phone, I think he or the doctor or someone called. He had an accident and he's broken his, he comes in the bicycle to work and a truck or something has run over him and he's broken his collarbone and everything. And I know if I didn't intercede and pray for him, that day he would have died. Yeah, so I actually, because I was in trouble, in real, I asked the Lord what's going on, and, that I was, a person who could come and do this. But anyway, I was so happy that, nothing happened to his life, just, a few weeks off. But yeah, but as he planned, my contract ended. And he became a permanent employee there, managing a new person. So I have to look for a new job. One day I called him to say, look, maybe 3 or 6 months later, just to say, look, I'm putting you as my reference for past experience. And when I picked up, he said, "Oh, Ruben, I'm really distressed. We were going to have a baby, but the baby died today." So of all the days, the day I called, there was a death in the family. I was really sad. I said, "I'll pray for you," and I prayed. But he's just brought in, a whole lot of, unwanted problems for himself, for scheming. So, moral of the story, when you see this spirit, okay, let me come to my conclusion. Okay, so how do we stop this scheming and this spirit? Like any other spirit. Now, for example, today I've said it in public. So anything which is in dark has power. Enemy operates in the dark. Now, because it's revealed in the light, it's exposed. So if you see someone manipulating and someone doing a scheme, then it is the spirit which is operating. Amen? Yeah. So these few stories, so along that line, if anything is happening, be aware. And like any other spirit, you just cast it out. You bind it. You have all the power. God, Jesus has given us the authority and the power. And if there is a manifestation of that, you need to bind it. And also you can challenge it, saying, this is out of order. What you're doing is, not right. You can challenge it. If they say, I'm sorry, and, then it's fine. But if not, we just hand him over to the Lord. Okay? All right, I had so many pages. I was wondering how I'm going to do. Okay. So yeah, because today being Equipping Sunday, that means we want to equip you for ministry, for business, for anything that the Lord has asked you. So this is a key thing on part of the spiritual warfare. How the devil plans and schemes to undermine you and take you out. But if you know the enemy's plans and purpose, then you can override it. Yeah? And remember, when God anoints you, no one can do anything. Okay? Yeah.